You think you know chess because you push a mop around here, old man. That line sharp as a knife, dropped into the heart of a sunlit hall at Manhattan Chess Academy, echoed around marble floors and million-dollar egos, and set the day on fire. That's how it started. The humiliation, the moment America's most celebrated chess champion decided to make an example out of a janitor for her sponsors. Only nobody in that glittering hall could guess how the game would really play out, least of all Victoria Sterling herself. Yeah, that happened. Let me back up a sec. The whole place was buzzing, sunlight bouncing off trophies, marble shining like the inside of a jewelry box. Victoria breezed in designer heels, platinum hair streaked with silver, face so familiar it should have its own action figure, walking in a cloud of cameras and questions. At 39, 5 national titles behind her, another one in sight, she was the queen of American chess. The reporters swarmed. How's it feel? 5th time defending? Victoria's smile didn't budge. When you're the best, defending is just another day at the office. The flashbulbs ate it up. But out on the floor, past the velvet curtains, and under a chandelier that looked heavy enough to kill a man, Marcus Washington was working. Just another uniform, pushing a cleaning cart between the tables. His skin was dark, his hands thick and careful. At 63, most people saw only his badge, not the story written in the lines around his eyes. To the players, he was invisible. Or he was until a rookie barked, "You're blocking my light." Marcus, soft-voiced, apologized, glancing at the chessboard. He saw the mistake before the kid even touched the piece, but said nothing and moved on. Victoria swept into the main hall. Her sponsors trailed behind, eager to snap photos for the company newsletter. That's when she spotted Marcus near one of the boards. "Is there a problem here?" she asked, cold and clipped. "No, ma'am. Just doing my job," Marcus answered, polite, turning away. "Your job is to clean, not stare," she snapped, loud enough to draw chuckles from the nearby players. "You probably wouldn't understand what's on these boards anyway." Marcus took it, barely flinched, but the comment landed, echoing around the room. Thomas Chun, the main sponsor, grinned. "Maybe we should let him play. Could be good for PR." Victoria smirked, loving the attention. "What do you think, sir? Want to try your luck at chess? I'll give you $100 if you can last 5 moves." She made a show of pulling out a crisp bill, waving it in his face. All eyes were on Marcus now, the crowd hungry for a show. Marcus paused, then straightened his back and looked Victoria right in the eye. "I don't want your money," he said. "If you insist, we'll play." His voice was steady, unbothered. Phones came out. Players pressed closer. Nobody wanted to miss the janitor's humiliation. They set up a board right in the center, Victoria glowing with anticipation, the tech team already streaming to social media. You know what I mean? This was going to break the internet. The director, Harold Whitman, protested, but Victoria brushed him off. "Relax, it's for charity, for the sponsors." Grandmaster meets the people. She barely managed not to laugh. Victoria sat down, perfect posture, latte by her side. Marcus, stoic, almost serene, took his seat across from her. "We'll need to explain the rules," Victoria said, voice dripping with sarcasm. Marcus met her gaze. "I know the rules. You played before? Once or twice?" Laughter. This was going to be easy. Victoria insisted on playing white champion's prerogative. She opened with d4, explaining every move like she was on a cooking show. Marcus responded with an f6, a little too quick, and a couple of real chess players in the crowd exchanged a look. Wasn't the usual beginner's move, but nobody cared not yet. Victoria pressed the attack, but Marcus's hands moved with an old, practiced grace. His knight danced, his pieces slipped into formation, and suddenly it wasn't looking like a slaughter. 10 moves in, Victoria's explanations dried up, her brow furrowing. Marcus's quiet patience was unsettling. He countered every attack, each piece landing with precision. The tension in the room grew so thick you could hear phones buzzing, thumbs tapping as the game was broadcast live, Grandmaster versus Janitor trending in seconds. Then the twist of sacrifice, knight on f2, a move that made even the masters in the crowd suck in their breath. If Victoria took, she'd walk straight into a brutal check. She hesitated, beads of sweat breaking out. "Who is this guy?" someone whispered. A few old-timers in the back started digging through their phones, faces going pale as they scrolled through decades-old photos. One muttered, "The Detroit Devil? No way." On the board, Marcus was unrelenting, a symphony of attacks and sacrifices. Every move a lesson. Victoria was on the ropes, her king driven into the open, her pieces tangled. The humiliation she'd planned flipped now. She was the one being schooled, every mistake exposed for a global audience. The game didn't last long. Marcus delivered mate with the elegance of a master, his opponent's king cornered and alone. The silence that followed was shattering. Victoria stared at the board, hand frozen above her king. She didn't want to resign, but there was nothing left to play for. Marcus looked at her not with triumph, but with a teacher's empathy. "Winning was never the point," he said quietly. "Chess is about sharing, about seeing beauty where others see nothing." A reporter in the crowd gasped. "That's him, the Detroit Devil, Marcus Washington. He disappeared 30 years ago after his wife died. Walked away from chess, from everything." Phones flashed, the truth rippling through the crowd. A legend, hidden in plain sight, now reduced to cleaning up after the same game he once ruled. The next moments moved in a blur. Victoria, humbled for the first time in years, stood and shook Marcus's hand. "Thank you for the lesson," she whispered. The crowd erupted, but Marcus only smiled, gathering the pieces with the same care he gave the marble floors every night. But the story didn't end there. That game exploded online, 50 million views in a week, hundreds of articles debating genius, prejudice, and humility. And in the months that followed, everything changed. Marcus started teaching again, not for money or fame, but at the Brownsville Community Center for kids who had nothing but heart. Victoria showed up, ditched the designer clothes for jeans and a t-shirt, bringing chess sets and a new humility. Together, they taught side by side, turning pride into purpose, pain into community. A year later, the Manhattan Chess Academy hosted the first Sarah Washington Memorial Tournament, Marcus's only condition for letting them honor him. 300 kids, free entry, free meals, all backgrounds, all welcome. The room was electric. Jamal, an 8-year-old prodigy Marcus coached, won his section. Victoria, now a mentor, found more joy in helping a 7-year-old mate with a rook than she ever had holding a trophy. And when Marcus was named honorary Grandmaster, he accepted not for himself, but for his students, his community, his wife's memory. In chess, as in life, every move forward is a victory, he said to a packed hall, tears in more than one set of eyes. As the story closes, Marcus and Victoria are in a janitor's closet, a chessboard between them, laughter and learning filling the halls outside. No cameras, no sponsors, just two friends planning next week's lessons, building a future where every child, no matter their background, can find dignity and greatness on 64 squares. Dear friends, greatness hides in plain sight, often behind a mop or a uniform, rarely where you expect it. If this story moved you, if it made you rethink how you see the people around you, please share your thoughts below. Is dignity something you earn or something you give? What does real justice look like? Let's talk about it, because in the end, anyone can be a teacher and everyone deserves to be seen.